Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never-ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing. Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 479 of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. I'm glad we get to hang out so much because, well, you're awesome. In case you haven't heard that today, it really is true. I mean, we're getting better every single day, you and me, because we're working on our mindset, which is the foundation for a beautiful life. So thanks for being here. We make the world better by making ourselves better. Okay, so I am a water girl. I love being on the water, whether it's a pool or the lake or the river or the ocean. Whatever. Water is heaven to me. Have you guys ever been out on a boat on the water and you look down and you see your reflection in the water? And if the water's kind of choppy and rough, it's kind of hard to see it. Not clearly anyway. It may be distorted because the water's so choppy. But if you ever look out on the water and the water's very calm, like glass, you can easily see your reflection. It reminded me that thought came about because I read a quote this week by Hans Margolius where he said, "Only in quiet waters things mirror themselves undistorted. Only in the quiet mind is adequate perception of the world." It's so true. When our mind is chaotic with thoughts, it's so difficult to see the world clearly. We often create the problems that we experience. I had a friend call me a couple days ago and she was really upset because her niece who had just graduated was visiting and she was she was actually very upset. She was crying because she felt her niece didn't care about her at all because she had brought a friend and they were spending more time together than with her. And in my friend's mind, they weren't really caring about her at all. Now, after listening, I just reminded her of how we were at 17 and how the only thing that matters for young girls at that age are friends and boys, which is universal and means nothing about her. She laughed and she was like, "I know you're right. I guess she's just growing up and it's so different now when she visits." See, my friend was taking a normal life situation. It was a little hard, but she was making it extra hard by making it mean she was no longer loved, when the only place it meant that was actually in her head. Her niece was visiting because she loves her, but the things that her niece enjoys now have changed, which is also perfectly normal. Life changes, and we can make it all about us, which makes it really hard, or we can let it be exactly what it is, a different phase, a new chapter. Just about every day of our lives, if you're living it to the fullest, there are going to be changes. I mean, people come and go. Friends move away and new friends move in. Our kids grow up. Coworkers change. Our parents get older. You can insert whatever change you're going through right now and ask yourself, how am I handling this? What am I making it mean? Are my thoughts about it making me feel worse, or are they making me feel better? I think the weird thing sometimes about life that no one ever taught us, not in regular school anyway, is an age-old idea written in a book written in 1902. It's been around for a very long time. It's called "As a Man Thinketh, So Is He." Wherever you allow your thoughts to go consistently, that's how your life is going to be. The more you control your mind, the more control you have of your life. So that things that happen outside of you, outside circumstances, they then have a less negative effect on you. I read a quote recently by Ralph Waldo Emerson, and it said, "The ancestor of every action is a thought." Now, that can work for you, but it can also work against you. I mean, maybe you've done something that you regretted doing, and you can look back and you can pinpoint the very thought that had you been aware of it and disallowed that thought or corrected it, you would never have done that thing that you regret. But it also works in our favor too. I mean, maybe you had a thought that you can pinpoint the exact moment that pushed you towards this really big accomplishment that you had. It's always the thoughts. Everything in our life hinges on the way we think. And that's why they're so powerful. One thought can take a really crummy situation and make it 1,000,000 times worse. And one thought can take a really crummy situation and make it 1,000,000 times better. My friend can feel sad for what used to be and at the same time excited for what's to come. I mean, we are capable of doing both. In order to be happy humans, we've got to do both because it's normal to miss the way things were, but crucial to come up with the good about it too. Remember this, if you're sad, you're dwelling on the past. If you're anxious, you're worried about the future, both of which will rob you of the present. So my friend's niece is growing up, yes, but my friend being upset about that and making it mean something about her actually robs her of the time she has to spend with her niece right now, who's right in front of her. And that can be a vicious cycle. My sweet neighbor who passed away a few years ago, when I would visit her, she was alone and she would always complain. Like she just constantly complained about being lonely the entire time I would visit her, which did not encourage me to want to spend more time with her because she was so negative. I mean, I was right there, and all she did was complain about being lonely. And it made me realize that that's probably why her family visited less often too. You see, the world we live in is the world that we create. We distort our world with chaotic thoughts. When we stop for a minute and consider how we're thinking about anything, we can realize that we're creating everything. If our minds keep chaotic, the world is distorted. It's only when we quiet our minds that our perception of the world becomes clear. So once my friend stopped and remembered she was once 17 too, she realized that her perception was distorted. I mean, once she stopped allowing her chaotic thoughts to create a world where she wasn't loved, it was clear she was loved. Just circumstances had changed, and how she dealt with it, well, that's how she's going to fare, and that's for all of us. How we deal with any circumstances that come up is how we're going to fare in life. That's for everyone with everything. As a man thinketh, so is he. As I think, so am I. As you think, so are you. My challenge to you today is to notice a thought you're having that may be creating a distorted view. Now, your first thought may be, well, what I'm going through right now is real. I'm not creating it. And to that I say, okay, fine. It is what it is. Now what? Are you going to think a thought that makes you feel bad? Or are you going to think a thought that makes you feel hopeful or happy or at peace? That's the choice you have every single day, regardless of what is. You get to create what comes next. Share this with 3 people who you want to feel loved. I love you guys. I'll talk to you in a few days. Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together, and I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.